good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are on the globe. Today I bring you another exciting episode from Flair GH, where we talk about plants, plant medicine, organic gardening, HR-related issues, flowers, pots, and everything you need to know about organic gardening. In our last episode, we spoke about the blossom end rot disease for the tomato plant, and today we are going to look at what causes our okra leaves to turn yellow and some of the few things we can do to revert that problem with our okra. So do you know that these okra plants can sometimes be crying for help, just like any other human or any other plants that we know of? Oh yes, they do cry for help when they need it. And so that is when they actually have some of the older leaves beginning to turn yellow. This is to send a signal to you, the cultivator or the gardener, to know that at this point your okra does need help. So when you see these things happening, it means that there are several contributing factors to the leaves turning yellow. The plant may be lacking nitrogen, and also sometimes you can see that the yellow leaves, it's not the entire leaf that is yellow, but you can see that the veins in the leaves are having a yellow pattern in them. That is the deficiency for magnesium. So when you see these things, it means that they are lacking these two nutrients. However, there are other things that also cause the leaf to be yellow. Are you overwatering your okra plants? Or you are under draining it? So when you don't do this properly, like same way I said with the tomatoes, the roots will begin to have problems, the roots will begin to grow fungal diseases, and they will have other ailments that will affect it because of the overwatering and the soil becoming overmoist. And so we have to avoid making it have this kind of condition. You have to be mindful of how you water your plant to avoid it having fungal diseases that are going to make the plant have the yellow leaves. Sometimes the plants will be having guests such as red spider mites, aphids, those white skin insects. If you see these uninvited guests on your okra plants, sometimes there is no cause for alarm, because for some of them you can easily get them packing their bag and baggage and leaving your plants alone. How do you do this? If you have any insecticidal soap at home, all you need to do is mix it up with some water and spray it on the plant, and they will all leave the plants alone. Sometimes you only have to learn to feed your okra with the right kind of nutrient, and so it is very ideal that you know exactly what your okra plant needs in form of nutrients. You have to make sure that you give this in the appropriate proportion. You need NPK, but the NPK you must know the right proportions to give it. That's the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So these three nutrients come together, or would I say these three balanced meal is a meal for them, and it has to be balanced, just as we humans also have to eat balanced diet. So you have to make sure that your NPK are in the right quantities in the form of fertilization, so that your plants will not grow the yellow leaves that it does grow. If it's beginning to do that, you can revert it by doing that. And sometimes you have to make sure that your soil is well drained. So like I said, some of us will do the container gardening. You have to make sure that you have ample holes at the bottom of your pot so that the water can drain well. If unfortunately you are at a place where the water becomes stagnant, and so you don't have any control over the water that is in the soil, what I advise is that you create a trench. Okay, you can create some lines so that the water that is in the soil can find its way gathering in those trenches, and then you can create a small gutter for it, for them to move away from the soil, or you can create gutters that will help you. Another beautiful thing that allows you to be able to allow your plants to dry up within watering is so that you water and wait a longer while before you water again, is by creating mulching. So when you mulch your soil, it is a best bait. You have to mulch the soil so that it will keep a particular temperature in there and keep the soil good until another time for watering, so that you don't keep watering every time to keep your soil over moist or dampened all the time. Like I always always say it's one of the easiest crop to plant as a beginner who is learning to garden. So if you're a beginner, okro is very friendly. Okro is very adaptive. It can give you enough fruit that will make you so excited, and it will ginger you to plant more things or to try your hands on more things. And okro can be used in so many meals, and because of that, if you have a space, if you have a container, never sit down and wait for things to become expensive that you can't buy before you think about putting something in the soil. You can get something and just start something small, and you realize that okro actually gives lots of fruits each passing day. And so if you are someone who wants okro or you like okro, you can resort to this method of planting because you can do any of them. If you have space, the ground is there for you. If you don't have space, you can do the container garden. But taking care of your plant is a very important thing. As soon as you see any yellow patches, as soon as you see any vein becoming yellow, as soon as you spot aphids or the right spider mite on your okro, just get to know that it is easy to treat them like I mentioned earlier on. Just grab your things and spray on them and you will be fine to go. If you are someone who knows the right proportion to use neem oil is also very appropriate when it comes to controlling pests in the garden, and it's organic based, and so it leaves you no room for inorganic material entering your crops and you in turn eating it and getting infected or having any health related issues. It's derived from the neem tree, and so you can use neem oil in your garden, but you must get it in the right proportion so that you don't end up burning your leaves or burning your plants, because neem oil is very strong and needs a particular proportion. So probably if you're using a bottle of water, you can use one of the cork of the bottle of water to 2 liters or 3 liters water, and then you can use it to spray. But before you spray, always make sure that you do a part testing. Part testing is when you actually just spray one section of the leaf and you wait for a longer period. Come and check if the leaf is becoming withered. If it's shrinking, it means that your water proportion is not ideal for the neem oil you took. So then you add a little more water to it. Sometimes if you want it to be more effective on these insects, then you can actually add your insecticidal soap to your neem oil to aid it more to work for you in the garden, and then you harvest something. You are our cherished viewer and you've planted some okro out there, let us know the problems you are facing so that we help you to solve these problems amicably so you can harvest enough crops for your home, your family, and your friends. My name is Ninye. I hope these tips were helpful, and I hope to come your way again another time with another exciting episode in the garden for your crops to get better yields. Love you all, and may God bless you for always being our #1 viewers and always liking our videos and always sharing our content with other people to also come and learn. Bye-bye.